both in different recording spots this time around.
Switch it up. New day, new pod.
Yep. No, we just did like an overhaul of our apartment. Like it could have been like 2 or 3 days after we recorded the first one, and moved my whole apartment around. So my desk is in a different spot. Same room. We only have like a living room that's also a kitchen and like a bedroom. So we only have like 2 rooms in the apartment, but I just moved my desk around. And you're in an entirely different room.
I'm in a different house.
You're in a
Yeah.
different house this time around.
Yeah, I'm my girlfriend and I are house sitting for her
Nice.
boss. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Different environment. Well, yeah, this time around, a little bit of a different conversation. Episode one we did together, just for people who maybe didn't hear that first one. We talked about Caleb's cancer recovery and his journey with that, and that was super awesome to have that conversation. This time around, we're going to talk about more present stuff, kind of things that we're both working on. But Caleb is a big advocate of, I guess, kind of creating opportunity for yourself and putting yourself out there. Uh, Caleb, if you want to touch on that for a second, and then I'll kind of lead way into the topic today.
Yeah, first off, if you haven't listened to the first pod, go listen to the first pod.
Yeah, do it.
Um, yeah, go over there right now and then come back. Um, yeah, no, I'm a like I said, I'm a big advocate. I think you can create your own luck to a certain point, and as long as you're a good saying that I think I've shared before is like preparation plus opportunity equals luck. And you can definitely increase your odds of being lucky. One way to do that is like simply whatever your major is or whatever like your field is, I would literally go out and find like companies that you look up to or um, even just people you look up to in the space, or it can be running, could be anything, and literally just send them an email. Like find their email. Everyone's email is really easy to find. I promise you, you can find them, um, and send them a message. And like a lot of the times they respond, and you meet super cool people that way and get super cool opportunities. I would encourage anyone in any field to do that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say we relate on that pretty heavily. In episode one, I kind of talked about just kind of things that you're doing now or things that I did a few years ago while I was still in school. And I remember it would have either been, I think it was sophomore year of college for me. I had just declared a major, and I actually was finance at NMU. I don't know if I mentioned that to you before, but I was finance. I took about a year and a half or so of finance classes. I didn't switch to accounting until would have been maybe halfway through junior year or something like that, or maybe it was beginning of junior year. Anyways, I like NMU doesn't require you to have an internship that I know of, but I just wanted one. And I remember, I mean, for people who aren't familiar with Marquette, it's like a population of 20,000 people, if that, like 19, depending on what census you're looking at.
Yeah, it's
And
small.
I remember walking around downtown in like just going into finance buildings and asking for internships, and there's like a grand total of three. But then anytime I would go on like a trip, I remember I went to Arizona, maybe winter of my sophomore year, or somewhere sophomore or junior year, and I'm in Arizona. I'd never been there before with my dad, and I just like started walking around and going into to finance offices and asked like wealth management, nothing like big, but just like family owned offices, asking for internships and collecting business cards, um and then looking those people up on LinkedIn. And I'd say that was really my early start of, I'd say, just putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, because I don't think anything ever came of any of those people that I talked to. But then you get in the habit of, when there's something you actually do want, you're not afraid to like just put yourself out.
Yeah, and like literally, I mean, it's cliche, but like the worst thing they can say is no, and then like they'll never think about you ever again. So like, and you won't like it goes both ways. Um, So I don't know. I think the risk is probably a lot lower. I think the perceived risk is a lot higher than the risk actually is, if that makes
For
sense.
sure. I think
Uh,
the risk people see, and one that I've heard of is like people are like, oh, I could never do that. I'd feel so embarrassed, or I'd feel like just so uncomfortable going and basically just putting yourself out there. And really, all it is like, hey, I know you do this type of work, or you mentioned running. You're this kind of an athlete, or whatever it is. You're on this diet, and you're interested in it, and so you just want to like pick their brain. Like, there's a that's just like going up to your teacher and asking
yeah.
a question after class, except that setting is acceptable, but like normal everyday is not.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to be like genuinely interested in what you're asking or like what you're curious about. Um, and people will generally talk to you, and people like doing business with people they like generally. And even if nothing comes from conversations that you have, you get better at speaking, better at like meeting new people in any situation, holding a conversation. And then I've found even if no opportunities really come out of it, that just like you are who you surround yourself with. And in Marquette, especially, that's kind of hard if you like want to do ambitious things, I feel like,
Yeah,
which is why a lot of people move away, especially in business,
yeah,
move
yeah. I
to
would
a bigger
say
city.
I would
And
say that one
yeah,
specifically, like we talked in episode one. There's only, or maybe in when we spoke a few weeks ago, there's only a few, in my opinion, there's only a few like actual careers that you can do. Like, there's plenty of careers in Marquette, or like Upper Peninsula, or Northern Michigan, Wisconsin, whatever, just Midwest, that you can do well, very well. But if you have like really high ambitions, specifically business, it's good to maybe start there, but it's also, I'd encourage, get out and go get a big firm job, and then you can always come back. But yeah, just wanted to add that piece.
100%. Yeah, I completely agree. I think changing your environment, especially going from like, especially if you grow up in a small town, even not Marquette, if other people are listening at some point that are in any other small town, I think it's important to like experience a bigger city and like, I think competition's good too. Um, and there's obviously more competition in business in a more concentrated area like a city. Um, so yeah,
Well, let me ask you, obviously you're doing all this stuff now. For people that are curious what Caleb did before January of 2026, go listen to the first episode. But when did it kind of hit you in college? You still have a year to go. When did it hit you that it'd probably be a good thing to, we mentioned the first one, like cold email? When were you like, I'm going to put myself out
yeah,
there because I want to do something big, I guess?
yeah. I think it's important to preface that like going into college. First of all, I didn't even know if I wanted to go into college. I almost like went and took a sales job, and my dad was in sales growing up, so like I really had no idea what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um, and then I kind of just like fell into the internship in Indianapolis. For people that don't know, I moved to Indianapolis for a summer for an internship there at a private wealth management firm. And that's where I like started cold emailing, as you said, or like cold messaging people that I've never talked to. Um, I was interacting with clients there that I didn't know, but I was also just basically like on my own at that point, and I didn't
Yeah.
know anyone in the city. So it's like, what do I have to lose? I think I would recommend that for anyone in college too. Is like go take an internship in a different city, just because it's so easy to lock in. Um, like I find that to be a problem in Marquette right now. Is like there's so many distractions. I have friends here, and that's obviously important, but it was so easy to just like get in really good shape. Like I was lifting every day, really heavy. I was working like a ton, and it was something that I found that I enjoyed. Um, and I think that's a good thing for a young person, just like kind of lock in and figure out what they like, what they don't like. Um, and yeah, that's when I got exposed to like venture capital. Um, is like some of our clients were either doing some like angel investing, or they had the money to invest in private companies or public companies. Um, and then I basically was just like, this is interesting. I'm curious about this. And I just went to like it was literally super simple. I went to like every big firm that I could find. I literally just looked like top venture firms in the US or in Michigan because I have a Michigan background. So anyone can do that if they're in Michigan or in any state. And I just like went down the partners list and I just found everyone's emails. So you can get a simple tool on LinkedIn to scrape people's emails. Like it's not hard to find people's emails. And I just sent them a message that was like, "Hey, I'm a college student. I'm studying finance right now, and I'm just very like super interested in what you do. I'd love to ask you some questions about early stage investing or late stage investing or whatever it is, and like kind of learn about your journey and connect." It was just like super. Like I'm not selling anything. I'm not like I'm essentially selling myself, but
Yeah, that's what I
a
was
lot of
thinking.
people will talk to you when you're not trying to be so transactional.
Yep.
Um, and I think increasingly today, too many people are transactional. Like you just got to meet people, and eventually you'll do business with them, probably, or you'll do cool stuff with them. But I think it's important to just like meet cool people. Um,
So that was
that was
two
between
summers
my
ago.
freshman and sophomore year, so that would have been summer of 24.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a few minutes ago you mentioned like moving away, putting yourself out there, locking in. I think that's good. Like anybody, it's easier with business, I will say. Like if you're accounting, finance, marketing, supply chain, whatever it might be, it's easier to get an internship in business in other cities because like if it's a big firm you're going after, they're set up in every major city, every
Yeah.
semi-major city. You can find a landing spot. And it's good because you get exposed, especially us being from UP, you get exposed to what I guess big city culture is like, or just something bigger than 19,000 people.
Yeah.
But I will say too, my my first internship was in Traverse City, and it was kind of the same thing. I kind of created it for myself. An accounting firm came to NMU. I went to their presentation. I always make a point, even now, if someone were to come present at my work or something, like I always go introduce myself. I'll get an email just because, like, worst case, so they say no, but maybe I don't even reach out. But at least it's like they know my name, they know my face. If they saw me again, they'd be like, "Oh, you're kind of familiar." So I did that, and then I reached out to them maybe the next day, 2 days later, and I was like, "Hey, I am looking for an internship. Would you guys ever do like an internship during the summer for a tax intern?" And for people who don't know that taxes is just more than an April 15 thing, this firm had never had a tax intern in the summer. But for people that don't know, so like tax season is basically January through April 15th. That's like for individuals and other businesses as well, but most big corporations will extend their filing, and it's all due in October and November and September. So there's two tax seasons for people who didn't know. But this firm had never done a summer tax internship, and they kind of created the position for me, and it was great. Same thing. I ran my fastest half marathon. I trained for a half marathon that summer. Lifted multiple times a multiple times a week, and that was awesome. What I will say is it's easy to lock in there, yeah, because you don't know people. You did the same thing I did, where like you are still putting yourself out there. I was fortunate in Traverse City because I met a pretty good group of friends. There was another intern, and he was from Traverse City. But long story short, now like it's good practice to do that and figure out what's kind of important, because now when you're working like a 9 to 5, you're working a 40-hour a week job, and then you have partners and some point spouses and family, and like the priorities, you really have to have them set out, because you might want to, not just you, I'm just saying in general, like you might want to do that lifting 5 days a week or running 5 days a week, which is great, but then the only time you really have to do that stuff is either if you wake up at the ass crack of dawn, or you do it from 5 p.m., somewhere between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Well, you might need groceries that day and you might need to do
Right.
laundry and all this other shit. So it's like it's good to get your priorities laid out early on, 21 like you, 24 like me, and just like kind of know what direction you want to go into. And that all is just beneficial when you're putting yourself out there and learning from people, because you could reach out to a partner who's 45 years old at a wealth management firm or something like that. Obviously, they have 20 years on you, and they can give you what they think is most important. If you do that 12 times, you're getting 12 different pieces of it. Like you're skipping a big chunk of figuring it out yourself, which I think
Yeah.
is just awesome.
Also, I guarantee you, anyone that's listening, if they're in whatever field, if they call up, like, if they find 20 companies that do what they want to do, and they call the front desk or call somebody they can find, and they ask for an internship or ask to like meet somebody, I guarantee you, you will get at least two or three. Like, no doubt. Because the thing is the competition is actually really low, which is good for anybody that's ambitious. Like, you literally just have to put in like a little bit more effort than everyone else, and it's really not that hard. Like, um, I don't know. I just think yes, there's a lot of people in each field, but you don't have to look very far to like set yourself apart, if that makes sense.
I think you just need to apply some like genuine energy and
Yeah.
genuine conversation, and then your face is going to get remembered, your name's going to get remembered. um, you're not just going to be like another intern even if you land it. Like I think even once you get the internship, my advice to people would be like try to stand out. You might not need to do like the best work, but always be the person who's, you know, asking questions, asking for more work or whatever it might be. Like just every aspect of what you're trying to get at, I think you should try to stand out.
I think it's important, especially in your early 20s, late teens, even maybe, but while you're young, to like just say yes to more things. That's what I tried to do going into my internship in Indy, and still now is like I have I guess the privilege of like being able to like be a full-time learner at this point. And even when you get into your career, but just like saying yes to more things if it comes, basically how I set myself apart when I was there. Is like there was another intern and he would go home early and I would just be like, all right, well, I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. Like, sure, I'll help. I think that's a great attitude to have, in anything you do, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good kind of summary of what you've been doing, kind of the direction you're going to go into, which is just we mentioned finance, but creating as many opportunities for yourself. You've done that a little bit. What are you've talked to me about um, potential internships in the future, which you don't have to name drop, but like I guess talk about what you're planning to do now. You've one more year of school. Anything big internship wise that you want, and once you graduate, is it a goal to land like a big firm, medium size, do your own thing? Talk about what you got ahead.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's like the $1 million question right now that everyone asks you when you're a year out is like, what are you doing after you graduate? Uh, and now I feel like it seems like so close because college has gone so fast. Um, but this summer, I don't have anything locked down. I could go take an investment banking internship if I wanted to. I know somebody going back to cold emailing. I met somebody through a friend of mine that I cold emailed that introduced me to somebody else, and they ended up selling a company for a bunch of money, and they sold their company with a specific investment bank. So it's all about who you know. Honestly, is what I found in business is like just go talk to people. As far as the summer goes, I don't know. I might go do something like that. Ideally, I'd like to stay in Marquette. I've technically been working for myself for the last, well, I guess year at this point, probably. But just doing deals that I've seen come up, and that looks like basically somebody gets an allocation into a deal. I look for family offices or people that invest already, have money, and then bring them into a deal, take a portion of the deal. That's essentially how that works. And then I've been doing consulting um, through the last summer for a public company that I'm NDA'd under, so I won't say their name, but and then a private company called SwimSmart, another company called Next in Lower Michigan, which are like all startups, just basically helping them put together investment pitches, investment decks, making introductions to potential investors, helping them with their sales, just that kind of stuff. That's like the week to week part time consulting stuff, and then whenever deals come up, I'll try and help out and make introductions to family offices there. Um, so that kind of moves into my next point is I'd like to maybe go work for a family office this summer. It might be here because a lot of that can be done remotely. Um, but I've been working with for the past like probably month at this point, 3 weeks, with a family office in New York that runs a hedge fund. So they manage their own money. It's the family's money, and he just manages the portfolio. And so maybe I'll pitch to him that see if he'll pay me for the summer to work full time for him. But um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything concrete at the moment. And then moving past college when I graduate, um, that's another good question. I really like having the freedom of like being able to go to the gym at 1 p.m. like whenever I
Yeah.
want, or like kind of I guess building my work or other stuff around other thing, kind of blending them together how it works for me. Um, so I'd like to keep that. I think I'm probably a little more entrepreneurial than maybe going into banking or something. And I like building my own deals, running my own businesses, stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe I'll start a company. Maybe I'll go work for somebody that I've met in the past year or two. But try to keep the options open. I feel like looking back 18 months, so much has changed in like my perspective on work and even deals that I've worked on that like it's hard to predict the next 18 months if that makes sense.
No, that,
Especially how business is moving these days.
yeah.
Tech is moving so fast. I don't know if you see any of the AI stuff in accounting yet or what, but it's like it's ridiculous on my end. Like people are raising obscene amounts of capital. The valuations are ridiculously high in companies. You're seeing like OpenAI raising billions and billions of dollars. Um, there's venture firms that the big one, Andreessen Horowitz on the West Coast, that just raised $15 billion in funds, meaning they'll invest $15 billion over the next few years. The dollar amounts are just ridiculous right now. Um, and so who knows? Maybe I'll go to the West Coast. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I'd
yeah,
like to get somewhere warmer, so for at least for a bit.
yeah,
I'm
big
I can't stand the snow right now.
big well, and it's been cold, but yeah,
Yeah.
big tech space on the West Coast.
It's
Before
hard
my
not to be pulled to like a city,
Yeah,
for me.
especially what you're trying to get into. I guess like just from listening to the benefit of I guess staying local, being in Marquette, and I look at this all the time too. At some point, I'd love to have my own business. Not entirely sure what it would be, but in order for that stuff to really happen, you kind of need connections.
Yeah.
So
Which
you
is
stay in. Go
yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say which is my thought process now is like I'm looking at cities that I would potentially move to, um, be it wherever around the US, and then find people in the space that I want to be in and like go make those connections now. I have a year to build those relationships and make friends in each city, and then I can kind of have the choice of going wherever I want. And then even if I travel, um, and I try to do this now, it's like even if I'm on vacation, if I know somebody in Florida, I'm going there for spring break, like I'd be happy to like I'd rather meet in person, right? So
Yeah.
if I know people in a lot of places, I can usually at least make time for one of those meetings or a few. So
Yeah. No,
uh,
that's a good way to look at it because I think for anyone, if you're at some point going to try to do your own thing, just helps to have resources, helps to have connections because there's only so much you can do on your own, right? And then looking at bigger cities, maybe it doesn't have to be a major city, but just something, bigger, couple 100,000. There's going to be so much more opportunity with, especially with acquisitions, raising funds. There's going to be so much more of that stuff going on. Even if you were to look at, Chicago, New York, Dallas is looking at getting their own exchange. I think relatively pretty soon. Um, Surrounding yourself in that environment, obviously, for what you're going for with the finance, like that's probably where you want to be, but at the same time, it's just as rewarding to kind of figure it out yourself too, and maybe work for a smaller company or do it on your own too. Um, that's just kind of cool with the nature of business at this point. Uh, Even now for myself, like first year and a half of my professional career was at big public firm. Now I'm working in house for a sports entertainment company, and there's some crossover, but
Shout out Dabble.
shout out Dabble, yeah. Uh, great app if it's available in your state. Go ahead and use it. Uh, but you just see like the opportunity. I mean, at EY, I was doing such different stuff than I'm doing now, and almost like at each job, each position, internship as like a stepping stone. At some point, you're going to get to a spot where you're like, oh yeah, this is where all that work was going towards. So even if you graduate and you're like, let's do a year of, I guess you like just not necessarily figuring it out, but just seeing kind of what you can do and learn on your own. And then you might get to a spot where you're like, yeah, this is good. Like it's rewarding. I like my own schedule, but now I want to be almost like challenged by someone else. Like you want the challenge of work coming from you that like you're not necessarily in control of. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, the life challenges come into play too, because like then you probably can't go to the gym at 1. But
Yeah.
even if you did it for, the first year was you figuring it out, contracts, whatever, and then year two could be an internship. At that point, it'd probably be like an entry level associate position or something. And then if you had that, probably makes sense to hold that for at least 2 years. But even if it was just a year, like you're building on it, you just have so much opportunity. I was just curious, kind of where your head's at this point.
Yeah, I think if you, for advice for anyone, advice for probably myself too, is just like find talented people and surround yourself with them.
Yeah,
I
for
think that's
sure.
another cliche that's really important actually, is like you are who you surround yourself with. And in school, especially here, it's hard, but you can, it doesn't have to be like you have to, or mentors even. This goes to that too, is like a lot of people think, well, how do I get a mentor? They preach that so much in school. It's like, well, how do I get a mentor? How do I get a, it's kind of like cliche advice, but they never tell you how to. But like, you
Yeah.
don't have to be talking to a mentor once a week. You can literally go find your favorite person on
Go
like
listen to a
Spotify.
podcast
Go
like
listen,
Ordinary
dude.
Voices.
Exactly. Go listen to a podcast, dude. Read their biography. To have a mentor, it doesn't have to be somebody that like you actually have a relationship with. You can literally just study what they've done and their history and stuff like that, and you can surround yourself with people just by doing that too. Um, it's more of a mindset thing, I think, than like physically who you're surrounding yourself with.
Yep.
Um,
Agreed.
but yeah, playing into the talents portion of things, I think if you're going to go work for a big firm, find somebody that's like, or find like a company that's super talented, has really like exceptional people, and then go work under those people and learn from them. That would be my advice. And I guess it still goes for the same thing if you're working on your own stuff, is like find exceptional people in what you're doing, and and people that inspire you, because you see that in hockey, you see that in every sport, is you either play down to the level of the team you're playing, or you play up to the level of your team you're playing. I think the same goes in business and in other categories, is you can push yourself by literally just working with people that are better than you. Um, so yeah.
Agreed. That's all good stuff. I have a fun question. I just saw
What?
this on Instagram yesterday, and I said it to Maddie last night. So it's the situation is you, and maybe you saw this. There's a chance you did, but you log into your bank, your online bank, and you see you got a debit for $1.1 million.
All right.
Just $1.1 million. You know that it shouldn't be there, but there's no evidence of like you haven't got any emails, you haven't got any texts. Your bank hasn't notified account holders that there's $1.1 million missing. And so let's say you sit on it for 6 months. You don't say anything. You're like, all right, this is definitely a fluke, but I'm not gonna say anything just in case. Because it's not my fault that it's there, but we'll see what happens in 6 months.
Yeah.
So six months go by, or we could even say a year to be safe. What would you do if it's still there? You've been accruing interest on it, which that's awesome. It's just sitting there, still no notification. What would you do?
I don't know. That's a tough question. Let me think. I don't know. Do you know where it came from? Like, can you send it? It just is in the blue. I think you run with it.
You can see on like the statement line that it's like it's debited from your bank, whoever it is, Honors Credit Union, debit $1.1 million on January 30th, 2026.
If there's any lawyers out there, this is all hypothetical. Um, I'm keeping the money. Um, you know what? It is what it is. Their problem, I guess. Yeah, I'm keeping the money, and then what
What
do
would
I
you
do with
do? Yeah,
what
what
do
would
I
you
do
do
with the money?
with 1.1? You can do anything. You can buy anything. You can hold it. There's no wrong answers, but there could be stupid answers.
Yeah, what do I do with it? I take 20 grand and I go blow it and I have fun and I like go on a stupid expensive trip. That's 20 grand. Then I probably take like 500 to six. I almost said the stupid meme. Uh, I almost. So 5 to 6. We'll keep it at 500, 500 to 600,000.
Like
Not
that.
not not 700,000. And I'll invest it in, I'd say, like stuff that's dividend producing, those stuff that like they've never cut rates. That'll like I can make 8% dividends a year on. There's my cash flow. And then at this point, if I'm like 21, 22 at that point, maybe even 23 or mid 20s, I'm taking the rest and I'm just gonna like go like spend it on riskier stuff, I guess. Um, so I have like my cash cow, my bank, my safe assets, if you will, index funds, dividend stuff. I blew 20 grand for fun because why not? You only live once, and then I take like the rest 300 to 400,000 and like invest it in companies that I like or people that I like and um, riskier stuff that I could see like a 3 to 10x on. Um, that's my allocation. What's your allocation?
I figured that your answer would be along those lines. So what I said last night is I said around 80,000 or so, and I just have it in a bank account for now, and each year.
Why are you keeping it? You're keeping it.
Oh yeah. I'm keeping
Yeah,
the money. I'm
yeah,
keeping the
yeah.
money. Um, and I'll tell you this is actually a true story, and I'll tell you what happened in just a sec. Um, Not for me, obviously. I would love that. I take like 80K, 85. We could round up, say 100, and I just like have it in a savings account, and I just max out my Roth every year. So I could just lock down the next 10
High
years.
yield saving for everyone that's watching.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I would put it away every year, max it out. I think it's raising to 7,500 for 2026. Maybe it raises, maybe at some point it's eliminated, who knows. But that's what I would do with the first like 100K. and then I would buy maybe around half of what's left, or maybe a little bit less. I'd buy like a vacation rental in like Scottsdale, Arizona. Um, rent it out, stupid rates, have that, and then the rest of it, kind of same thing. I kind of just sit on it and have it. Same thing. Maybe invest it into some dividend producing assets, or just honestly sit on it. Maybe I want to go on vacations. The I don't know. It's safe. I'll take the interest on $450,000 too. So mine's not as exciting, but I'd
No,
get the
I think that's
rental.
actually a good like. I think you should have like some. I mean, that's typically, I guess, what the three to 400K of mine is like. I guess it doesn't have to be companies. It could be real estate. It could be like just stuff that comes up. Like you have like a cash like reserve, if you will. Like if an opportunity comes up that's like, holy crap, like I can't pass up on this. You can do the deal or you can invest in it.
And
Um,
part of my answer too is like I'd still expecting to be working. Like if this happened to me
yeah,
exact
yeah,
situation, I'd be
yeah.
working the same jobs. If I could save 7,500 a year on from my own salary, that's pretty awesome. I'll just save
Yeah,
that
plus
too.
like I don't know what it is, 500 grand compounding over 20 years. I mean, you're young, so like
A lot.
you can hold it forever. Yeah, you'd be doing well in retirement for sure if you could get to that point at a young
Oh yeah.
age.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if I had an extra, 350,000, $400,000 sitting in a savings account accruing interest, or whatever it might be at 24 till, I could retire well before age 60, which is already the goal. Um, but yeah, so that actually happened to someone. I should have saved it, but some guy got $1.1 million just debited in his bank account, and he just sat on it for a while, didn't say a word, and then at some point just kind of started spending it. He also started like dispersing it out to family members and friends. And at some point the bank picked up on it and like started intercepting those transfers. So the bank recovered like $800,000, and there was an outstanding 300,000. And the guy went to court, and basically the ultimatum was like return the $300,000, which I'm assuming it'd be like the 300,000. I would assume they probably charge some type of penalty or interest on it too. So it's probably that wasn't in the description, but it's probably more than
yeah.
300,000. Or do a year in jail.
What? But it wasn't even his fault.
Nope, wasn't even his fault, and he took the year in jail.
Dang.
He kept the money. He didn't return it. He yeah, he spent a year locked up, kept the money, and I think a lot of it would definitely have to depend. If I like, it wouldn't affect my job, or like wouldn't affect me that bad. I don't know. I feel like a lot would have to line up for me to want to voluntarily go to jail over keeping money. But
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to jail to be honest. I'm figuring out how to pay the 300, 400, pay somebody back. I don't know, take out a lot. I don't know, but I think
and,
I value my freedom that much.
and I
That
would
like,
assume it wouldn't have been like lump sum. You just,
yeah,
he
payment.
probably would have had for life at maybe a low interest or something because of the
Yeah,
situation, if there was
right.
interest on.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's
just
an
interesting.
interesting. That's interesting, and this is kind of a different like. It's building around the 1 million. I have a little brother. He's 10, and I was driving him back. I think I picked him up from like practice or something, and we were driving back to my house, and he was like, "Do you think you'll ever make $1 million in your life?" And I was like, it's just funny that like a million is still like the
Still a wowing number.
yeah, still like the line, even though like I mean, a million is a lot of money, but like they were saying, "Oh my God, you have $1 million in 1960," and like 1960, $1 million now is, I don't know, it's at least doubled or tripled or maybe 4x since then. So it's 3 or 4 million now, the same number. And
Yeah.
I was like, I told him, I was like, I hope I make $1 million. If I don't make $1 million in like, I mean, when I'm 60, if I don't, I'm screwed. Like, especially the way, I mean, that's a funny joke now, but like, especially the way the economy is now, like the way prices and of stuff is and housing, like, you better hope I make 1 million. You better hope you make $1 million at some point
Yeah.
in your life. Like,
No,
that was
Maddie
funny.
and I talk about that sometimes too, because it's um like by the time we're both done with school, I mean I'm done with it, but she's got about a year left with her master's. We'll both have a bachelor's and a master's degree, and we'll have a good amount of student debt. But I think the goal is just make more in salary than you owe in debt, and I think we'll both be good with that. But like we'll talk about like the 100 like six-figure salary threshold that I think for most people it's like, wow, you make six figures. And this conversation, this might be a little ignorant, but like six figures is like when you're in that realm and like you're in a field, I guess, where like you can make it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that wowing, I guess, because even the 1 million, like I'm based on your answer, like you, the question being that you'll have 1 million in the bank, is that or like
Yeah, I better
accumulated
have,
earnings is
I
one
mean,
million?
like at retirement, I better have, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, okay.
I better have a
That
million liquid.
that's what I figured, and even that number
I better have more than that. I mean,
exactly. That's my point. Where
I'd like
it's
to have
like,
a million liquid by 30.
yeah, yeah,
That's,
yeah.
yeah.
That and it's when you know that it's based not like how to do it, because I'll say that's also a goal of mine. Like go back 3 years, I wrote on a piece of paper by age 30, I want a net worth of at least 1 million. And there's no like blueprint to do it, but when you're in a it's who you surround yourself with, it's what you decide to be interested in, but it doesn't seem, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen. It'd be really nice if it
It's
did.
gonna happen, Kobe.
Well,
Speak it
yeah,
into existence.
just got to keep
I'm
working
serious.
towards it. But like, it doesn't seem like that crazy. You max out a Roth in like last episode we were talking about doing that, and you mentioned expecting 8%. And for me, I'm even more conservative. I say like 5.5 to 6 at a low ball. That's what I'll do all my calculations at, is like at least 6%. You're guaranteed at least 6% over
Yeah.
time. And even if you just max out your Roth and do like minimal contributions to a 401k, you're getting to 1 million at 6%. Like by the time you're 60. So I think for people who are listening and are like, wow, these guys are really
Yeah.
spitting
Out of
stuff out of their
touch.
ass. It's just like literally just
It's not that
do
hard.
no, just ask ChatGPT to do the compound
Yeah.
calculation for you. It's not that crazy what you need to save to have that by age 60. Obviously life can get in the way, and a lot of things can get in the way of that. But if you start early, you set yourself up pretty big. Max out 401k, max out HSA, max out Roth, and you'll be pretty set up to have a milli
Yeah.
by the time you're 60.
And honestly, from my perspective, like invest as much as you can in a Roth now while you're like in college, or like if you have any money to invest in a Roth, because you're the lowest tax bracket that you're ever going to be. Like as soon as you get out of college, you're going to get into a higher tax bracket. Promise. Like so I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
So changing direction again, if you if you could open an ideal business, let's say the window is like within 5 years, you open up a business. It doesn't have to be just like consulting. Like it doesn't have to be finance. It could be anything. If you were to open up a business and you're like, yeah, this would be sick to work for, own, operate, what would you do? Maybe not where. If you have a location, you can share it. But what do you got brewing up in your head? What would be like the ideal job?
Yeah. Um,
I guess
that's interesting. What
company.
are we like? Is the outcome to like hold it forever? Is the outcome to like exit the company? What's the Because if I'm holding it forever, right now, the biggest the biggest bullish opportunity that I see right now is in-person experiences. I think that will exponentially go up. You see that in Marquette, you see that in everywhere you go, like
Like what?
microbreweries, like hospitality, microbreweries, good experiences where people can go hang out. You go to Black Rocks on any night, it's packed. Like there's always people there. There's always the Ordoc, same thing. For people that live in Marquette, like I am so bullish. Meaning like I for people that aren't in finance, like I'm very I have a very positive outlook on in-person experiences in places that like people can go hang out, um, and like have a maybe a more premium experience, but um, somewhere where social things can happen.
Would
So
you
if I'm gonna start a company, it's gonna be something like that, whether it's like a
like
resort
food
type.
or like
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
events or
That's a good question. I don't know what it would be. Um, I think it would be something high end, just like really good, like end to end experience. Um, Something with like unreasonably good hospitality. I think that's lacking too.
so
Um,
would you be like
that's what I'm holding
would you be
forever.
materially involved? Would you help operate it, or you just want to like start it up, hire it out? You're not going to be on the ground working. You just think it would make a good margin, so you'd rather just like you operate it. You're still doing like back office stuff, but you're not on the floor.
Yeah, I think if I'm gonna hold a business and like work in a business, like at least a good portion of my time, that's something that I would do. I just think it's cool. Like there's a million ways where you can make it unique. Um, you can set yourself to be like different than a lot of people pretty easily.
Agreed.
Um, I don't know. I just think there's like such a low bar at this point, and I just think in-person events are going to be, yeah, that might be a bold take, but I think there's a low bar. I think experiences and like how people like even like just like come into a business can be so much better. And with technology and the way things are going now, I just think people will crave in-person conversation. Um, and Yeah, that's my contrarian take of the day. If you want a contrarian take out of me, young people need to drink more alcohol. That is the contrarian take of the day for everyone. I'm not advocating for everyone to go be alcoholics, but go have a drink with a friend on a Friday night, and also talk to people with different perspectives than you. Another, I'm gonna get into some weeds, so I won't go there, but like talk to people. That's a big problem is
We can clip it. We can clip it for
no, no,
views.
no. I think this is good. Like, I think it's really important for people to go seek out different perspectives because the algorithm these days, if you're on social media, whether you're on the left or right politically or whatever you think, even if it's not politics, like it feeds you what you want. And I see that becoming such an increasingly big problem is like people think each side is so radical and really like your neighbor is like a normal dude, like you know what I mean, like most people are like normal people, like you can go have a conversation and like compromise on stuff and like oh yeah, that's kind of a valid point, we can kind of like agree in the middle. And social media feeds you so much BS now that that going back to the in-person experience, just like go have a conversation with somebody that has a completely different outlook on life and like perspectives, different life experiences. Like I think that's so healthy. And you can do that in reading too. Like go read a book that's like something completely out of the world that you are like not familiar with.
So
Um,
you're to
I'm
sum it up for
advocating
people,
I'm
you're
advocating for dialectic conversations. Go look that word up. If you don't know the word dialectic, it's my favorite word, which basically means like just have conversations with people that have different views than you.
that's
Um,
good. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
So coming soon in Marquette is a brewery open on the weekends. Alcohol is highly encouraged, and there's going to
exactly.
be a back room for political debate.
Yeah, I mean, dude, alcohol is the. I'm not a big partier and like, but I think like going to a brewery and having a drink, there's nothing wrong. Like, I think that's
No,
great.
it's good.
I think it's the lubrication of society. Now, if somebody wants to invent some other consumer packaged good drink that's healthier and provides the same outcome that people want to come together and like have an excuse like, oh, well, let's just go get a drink, then um, that's great. Then I'll push for that drink or food or whatever,
Uh,
as long as
my
it
uh, my
provides the
ideal
same outcome.
business, ideal business is similar. I've actually got two. There's two that I'd want to do. First being uh, coffee shop. Uh, I've talked to a couple coffee shop owners. Jesse Renfers, owner of
Shout out,
Provisions.
shout out provisions. Yep.
Yeah, I want to get Jesse on here at some point. But I've talked to him before, and I don't know. There's just good opportunity for coffee shops. The margins on their drinks are incredible, but I mean, you pay like pennies on the dollar for what goes into a drink, and then like depending on where you're at, like in Austin, I want a cappuccino. It's like almost $6. It costs a fraction of that to make it, but the key is like you need to have high volume. So it might not be the most profitable, but like I'd want to be on the ground, like seeing people.
Yeah.
That'd be
I think
like my
I think
long
that's a big
term.
part of probably the way you see it and the way I see it too is like I- it's a way I can provide impact in people's lives and like actually make people's lives better. They can go out, they can have a good time with their friends, with their family, like make good memories. And that's why I like investing in businesses too. And I don't know if I'll ever be I don't know if what I'll do after college, so I don't know if I'll stay in that or not, but like it's a way for me to like be able to help a ton of entrepreneurs and give them capital and like see them build their dreams, I guess, if that makes sense. And like it's a way to provide impact to the world more than just like on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
So that's why I like hospitality business. Same with coffee shop. Like they can go down, have a cool conversation with a friend, or like do business, meet cool people. It's just like a good atmosphere, and it creates connection, and that's what we need more in the world. So
great. They're
yeah,
they're productive. Maddie really likes coffee. Maddie drinks a lot of coffee, and when we started dating, she got me like I had coffee before, but not to the extent I do now, and I don't even drink that much now. But I will say my favorite thing on a weekend now is, especially in Austin, we have so many good coffee shops, and we'll go. It's a beautiful day out, sipping on a nice cappuccino. I love cappuccinos, and you're just sitting outside. It's like so relaxing, or even inside, like being able to create like a super productive space, a space for people to talk. I would want like little stage. I would want people to play music there. You could do like movie nights. You could do, I don't know, allow for like event rentals. Just like, yeah,
that's what I'm
create.
saying. There's so much room for innovation in
Yeah,
like physical hospitality, like restaurant anywhere that is a social place. There's so much room for innovation, and I think, like I said, I think that it will just become increasingly more popular in the next our lifetime, next 50,
yeah.
100 years.
No, I see it similarly, and I think wherever you're at, whether it's Midwest, Texas, West Coast, Florida, like go anywhere, you would always think that those things are like it's oversaturated. Like even I talk about Marquette a lot. Like think about all the coffee shops that are in Marquette. To me, I think that's oversaturated. But if you were to, gosh, I have an idea, and I can't say it because I don't want someone to steal it from me. But there's still areas in Marquette where it's like, oh, there's no coffee shop for these people. They go to freaking now Circle K to
Yeah.
get coffee coming in from Harvey. It's like, well, you'd
Do you
think
guys
it's
have
oversaturated, but
Do you
it's
guys
not.
have like social areas in Austin? Because when I was in Indy, I was in Carmel, Indiana. It's like a suburb of Indy, and there was like really cool outdoor spaces that had like turf with like a big projector. There was bars kind of surrounding it, and then they had like ping pong tables and pool tables and shuffleboard, and it's just out. Like anybody can go pick up a ball and a paddle. It's free. Like you can just go out, have a good time, and then all the businesses around it benefit, obviously. Like people go and drink and have food and then go play games and stuff. And I think that would be super cool to have in Marquette, and I think it'd be really popular just to have like a local like central district where like people hang out. That's the other thing. There's nowhere like for kids to hang out. I don't know if you remember like I assume it was the same thing. You're not much older than me. Like where people like go to Lower Harbor and hang
Yeah,
out. Like
yeah,
that was the place to be. If you
yeah.
go down there in the summer now, like there's nobody there. It's
Because they're
deserted.
all on like iPads.
That's what I'm saying. We need to like make cool in-person experiences for kids again. Like have places for them to hang out and like have fun and
Yeah.
get in a little trouble. Like,
No, Austin's an interesting city because it's. I mean, there's a million people here, but the main downtown, it's not very big. So like we don't really have downtown. There's like one park that I can think of that's like surrounded by high rises. Um, Definitely not like a great place to hang out. But the thing that's cool about Austin is like I live a mile from downtown. It's maybe a mile walk to my office on the 14th floor. So it's a big building. There's more above it. Point is like where I live is a neighborhood. Like I live in an apartment complex. There's a couple hundred units, but you walk out the door and there's a church right there. And like normal houses you'd see in a small town, like right next to the church, and then a half a mile away is pickleball courts, baseball field that they play at. Um, so I wouldn't say we have like super big downtown like hangout areas. Like if you go to Dallas, Dallas has that. Um, Austin is just more like residential. That'd be the way that I'd say it. Like it's more. I don't know if suburban would be the word. It's very eclectic, meaning like you just have a bunch of cultures merged into one. There's
yeah,
a, a brand new build that's worth $1.1 million. You could buy that with your free cash found in your bank account. And right next to it is one of the shittiest homes you'll ever see. Like it's run down. It's literally condemned. There's plywood on the doors. And if you look up that property value on like Zillow, it's still over a quarter of a million
yeah,
because of just like the lot. But
yeah. The
like the
location.
house is non-existent. So it's an interesting city. I think you nailed it though. Like for the foreseeable future, those hangout, meetup, event spaces are just gonna keep exploding because I mean it's been a couple years past COVID, but I feel like people still are trying to figure out like how do you do things in person. Maybe not everyone, but I feel like it was a way like when we grew up, it was definitely way different.
Yeah. It's
Where
like you
now
bike
people
around,
are,
you hang out with your friends. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like we need to get back to that. And like, there's such a big opportunity in doing that and building cool spaces like that.
are you a Harvey kid?
No, no.
No.
I lived in Harvey until I was 6, and then I moved to Marquette.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. So
into
you didn't,
Marquette.
because when I was in like middle school, yeah, that was the thing to do is like Lower Harbor.
Yeah,
But I lived on Harvey, and you can't go
yeah,
to Lower Harbor. So we'd bike in and go hang out at Lower Harbor, and then you'd have to either get picked up or you'd have to bike back at the end of the
yeah.
day.
It was like a good central spot.
Yeah,
And yeah, you're right. Just like kids are on their iPads or doing whatever, God knows what. But like, if you think about your best memories from like your child, it's all like that stuff. It's like doing
it's
like
outside for me.
stupid
Yeah,
shit with your friends, like biking around, jumping in the lake, like going to like a rope swing or like I don't know, just like kids need to cause some more trouble these days. Like not like big trouble, but like you just do like stupid stuff with your friends. Like it's we need to get back to that. That's
Yeah, I mean, I can
yeah.
say when I come back to Marquette from not living there, the things I do are you go to the beach, go hang out in the woods, go like
Yeah.
Sugarloaf, Hogsback, Mount Marquette, or I mean, it's always Black Rocks. Always go to Black Rocks. My buddies and I love Stuccos. We go to Stuccos and like just I don't want to see too many people because I don't want to have that many conversations when I'm home. It
Hey,
turns into
was the Vera big when you were here or no?
in college, yeah.
Dude, the Vera, they're trying to rent the Vera out again, and I don't know. I saw some people banding together to like put together a pool of money, college kids to rent it out, but I don't. They're not.
Like for like you just rent it for an event.
Yeah, like they're like it's like up for like monthly rent right now, but the Vera is so gross. It's like sticky floors and
It's
I don't know.
disgusting.
Hopefully
It's
they cleaned it
disgusting.
up, but yeah, that's funny.
Well, I think that
Yeah, I
might
think
be
that's a
all
good
I
place to
got for
call it.
this episode.
I feel like
This one was a
that
good
was
one.
solid. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. And if you haven't listened to part one already, jump on over and go listen to it.
Yeah, the part 1 is about 40 minutes. This guy's going to be about an hour. Uh you people can break them up as you please, but yeah, definitely give them a listen. This was
Yeah.
probably
And
the
if you've
most
listened this
enjoyable
far,
one I've had. So,
thanks for listening.
yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Sweet.